Ciao! There are three ingredients that I absolutely love: pasta, cheese and aubergines. When I went to the supermarket the other day and I saw some beautiful aubergines, here they are, for a change, some nice large Italian style aubergines, I could not help buying them and I immediately thought about this recipe. So first things first, I'm going to be removing the little head from the top and I'm chopping them in half. Aubergines will last in your fridge for a good week before they go soft. After a week they're still okay to be cooked for a number of recipes, but if you're making this recipe, make sure that you cook them within a few days of purchasing them. I've just removed some of the aubergine from one of my pieces here and I'm going to show you how I did that. I've got a little steak knife, but a paring knife will also be very good. And I'm going in, leaving approximately 1 centimeter away from the edge, and very gently, making sure that I don't cut myself, I'll go around and I just score it all the way, making sure that I do not go through the aubergine either. Then I'll score some lines all the way down this way, and I'll do the same the other way. And as soon as you've done that, you can see that it is easy to actually go in with your fingers and just remove the inside of the aubergine. And to finish the job, I'll go in with a spoon to ensure that I remove any straggly bits. And there it is, it's perfect. You should end up with something which resembles a canoe or a boat. Pot of boiling water, and I'm going to add a little salt. And I'm now adding my aubergine so that they will blanch. I will leave them to cook for 10 to 12 minutes, but after 5 or 6 minutes I'll turn them around. And to ensure that they cook quickly, I will put the lid on. I will be making some pasta sauce next, and as I've got the inside of the aubergine, I'm chopping them with a knife. Don't go too mad because they will be cooking, but just in rough pieces. Some olive oil in a saucepan. I add my aubergines. I put the lid on, and a way to mix them all is just to shake it so that the oil will distribute itself all over the aubergines. And there they are. Garlic next, and I've got one large clove and a small clove. I like garlic, so I'm putting the extra little one, but if you're not too keen, either don't put any, it doesn't matter, or put less, or put more if you really like it. But I will ensure that this is crushed so that it doesn't end up being too big when you're eating your pasta. I'm also adding a little salt, as this will help the aubergine releasing some water. And let's take a look at the aubergines as they've been cooking away for a good 5 minutes, and I'm going to turn them around now. Make sure that you do not overcook them as they will need to hold the pasta, and if you overcook them they will just fall apart. I've moved the aubergines on the hob. As soon as they start sizzling, I'll place the lid on, I'll turn the temperature down to medium-low, and I'll leave them for 3 to 4 minutes so that they cook in their own water. So the aubergines are done. I'm now removing them from the water and placing them in an oven dish, and I'm going to put them upside down, well, with the skin facing upwards, so that I'll try and get rid of as much water as possible. And I'll keep this water to do my pasta, as it is got salt already, it's hot, but also it's got the flavour from the aubergines. So back to our aubergines. After a few minutes they have reduced in size considerably and they are almost cooked. And now is a good time to add my passata. So 500 milliliters of tomato passata goes in. This is oregano. I will be adding a good pinch of it. And I'm now chopping a small handful of fresh basil. There it goes, in with the sauce. I'm doing a vegetarian version of this recipe, but you can also add some mince, either pork or beef, you decide. But if you do that, make sure that you do that before the tomato goes in, let it brown, and then add a little wine maybe. And once everything is nice and dry, you can add your passata. I've decided to do a vegetarian version because I think it will really enhance the taste of the aubergine and the true Mediterranean flavor of the dish. So the sauce is boiling and that's perfect. At this point I will place the lid on and I'll turn the temperature down to a medium-low, and I'll leave it to simmer for a good 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm ready for the pasta, and today I will be using macaroni. Here it is. You can also use pennette or farfalle or conchiglie or the little spirals, as long as the pasta that you use is short. It's better because it will compact better inside the aubergine, but of course if you fancy using spaghetti or linguine or tagliatelle, by all means go ahead, but it will not have the same effect, of course. So the water is boiling once again and my pasta goes in. I will leave this to cook for about 6 minutes. It needs to be really al dente, not cooked at all, because it will finish cooking in the oven. If you cook it to normal cooking instructions, it will be really sloppy once it goes in the oven, so make sure that it's really al dente. And my tomato sauce is ready. For the last 5 minutes I've removed the lid so that it got a little bit denser. It's a balance because we need to finish cooking the pasta, but also you don't want it too sloppy. So this is exactly the ideal consistency that you're looking for. I will be adding a few ingredients next, and this is some fresh mozzarella, and I will keep some for later, but maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the rest will go in. Also, I've got some olives here. These are pitted olives, which I keep in olive oil. I'll just take some out. Not too many, just a few. I'm chopping them in half, otherwise they will be fighting for space inside the aubergines. And I will add them to the sauce. Another ingredient, but not many because they can be quite strong, is capers, just a small teaspoon. And a good handful of Parmesan cheese, the equivalent of a couple of dessert spoons. And let's mix it all together. I've just drained the pasta, which is very al dente, and I will add it in. And I'll blend everything together now. My aubergines have cooled down and I have drained any excess water. I'll put a little oil at the bottom of my oven dish and quickly spread it with my hand. And I'll position my aubergines inside it. And I do ensure that the oven dish you use, it's just big enough for the aubergines, otherwise they will go all over the place. And I've now moved on to the exciting job of filling my aubergines with my lovely pasta. And don't be afraid if the pasta goes above the top of the aubergine, that is intentional. I love making dishes like this because they are very representative of Italy, but also they are dead simple and incredibly delicious. And when my children were little, they would muck in and they would love having a go as well, so you might want to do the same. And I'm nearly there. Remember the mozzarella which I reserved? I'm now adding it on top of each piece of aubergine. I've also chopped a few, these are plum tomatoes, but also you can use cherry tomatoes, and I'm adding them on the top of each piece of aubergine. Gently push them in so that they do not fall over. I'm now adding some Parmesan cheese on top of each aubergine. This is quite important actually, especially if you like Parmesan, as it will melt and it will look lovely and it will taste delicious. And this is a very Sicilian thing I'm doing now. These are breadcrumbs and I'm actually adding just a little sprinkle on top of my aubergines. They will caramelize and they will give a lovely golden crust and it will look stunning. It wasn't the last thing. The very last thing is just a drizzle of olive oil before it goes in the oven. Apologies, and some pepper. And they're ready to go in the oven. No need to cover them. Approximately 10 to 12 minutes, temperature wise quite high, 220 degrees. If you want them to be even crustier, for the last couple of minutes you can pop them under the grill. I'll see where it goes. If they do need it, I'll do it. If not, I won't, but I will let you know. So it's in about 15 to 20 minutes. Ciao! And they're done. They look wonderful and they smell delicious. I actually left them in for 15 minutes after all. That is 1-5. After 12 minutes they looked almost done, but there was quite a lot of pasta and the aubergines were quite big, so I wanted to make sure that they were properly cooked. So you'll have to judge it, but I did not bother with putting them under the grill and they look perfectly okay, nice and golden on the top, just what I was looking for. This is the point where normally I'm joined by Julie, because at the end is a little bit more tricky to film, but she's not here today, so I left the manager by myself. As they've been resting for a few minutes, they should be quite easy to actually move. Let's have a look. Yes, they are not too bad at all. I was worried for nothing. There. And that is a perfect portion, and I'll put a little basil on the top to garnish so that this is ready for my photo. I'll see if I can move the camera also to show you the top of the aubergines. Hopefully you'll be able to see better. There. They look wonderful, don't they? And I'll try some from one of these. That is magnificent, really delicious. It reminds me a little bit of Parmigiana, because clearly the ingredients are the same, but the olives and the capers are adding a really nice flavor to the sauce. Delicious, wonderful. I'm very pleased with it. One of the best. Hopefully you make it. Do let me know if you try it, and I would really love to hear from you. And if you like the recipe, subscribe. It's free. Thank you very much for watching. Buon appetito, arrivederci e grazie. Ciao.